guys, it's Ms. Husky again. In today's lesson, I'm going to walk you through our database, AVL, which is the Alabama Virtual Library. I know that many of you may or may not have actually used AVL before, and sometimes the searching on AVL is a lot trickier than if you were to do just a random Google search. So I'm going to give you some shortcuts to make it much easier, much faster, and much simpler. So let's get started. Okay, so for the AVL lesson, I'm here on the Student Symbol page. If you go over to this little folder where it says Research Resources, I do have a link for AVL, Alabama Virtual Library. So let's click on that, and we're going to select High School. And then in this little topic bar right here, we're going to select Literature and Language, and that will reduce the number of databases so that we just have the ones that deal with literature and language. So we're looking at this fourth one right here that's called Gale Literature. So let's open that database. So everybody is researching Huckleberry Finn. So we're going to go ahead and just type in the name of the novel and make sure that you select the one that says novel. So literary criticism or literature criticism, that's the default. And so right now we have 248 articles. Now that's quite a few articles to kind of navigate through. So let's reduce that just a little bit, okay? So what we're going to do is we want to check this little box that says that we're going to look at just peer-reviewed journals, okay? That reduces that number to 78. Now, why peer-reviewed journals? Well, peer-reviewed means that the experts in the field, they review or edit or look at the articles that are written by other experts in the field. So it's like experts making sure that the experts are top-notch and doing what they're supposed to do. So we've got it down to 78. That's still a hefty number. So if you look right here, I'm going to say, let's look at filter the results. So let's look at by subject. So I'm going to select the title again. And you're like, wait, time out. Why in the world would you select the title again and it reduced that number? Well, the way that the databases work, they work on this keyword of any article that mentions The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, that novel, will come up in a search. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that entire article is solely about Huckleberry Finn. So the way that we can filter out all those that just mention it is by going to subject and selecting the novel, the name of the novel again. So we've got that set up. And so now what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of show you something for my visual learners, okay? So we've narrowed that part down, but if you look right here where it says Topic Finder, we're going to click Start the Topic Finder, okay? So it gives you two different ways to visualize a search. One is with tiles, okay? And so you can see how like this big red tile that says Huck Finn, it has some underneath, it's got like some smaller like subtitles, but I like the wheel because to me this is a personal preference. This it shows you how to kind of narrow the search and kind of drill down a little bit. So if you look right here, this yellow piece, and then you want to drill down to these little outer rings. So if you're doing your research on slavery and racism in Huckleberry Finn, then you can look at just morality, or you can click here where it says slavery. And what it does is that in Huck Finn, these are the articles that deal and have that keyword slavery. And so there's two of those. You can look at this one right here that says slave. Well, there's 4. So between those two, basically, you've got 6 different articles. And I know you don't need to have 6, but sometimes it's better to go ahead and get a little bit more than you need. You can look over here where it says race. There's 2 different articles right here. So we've got this particular article. I'm going to look at this one. Say It Jim, the morality. Okay, y'all, this is crazy, but the author, I know her. She was actually one of my professors in graduate school when I was getting one of my master's degrees in English, Dr. Bollinger. She's amazing. So I took every class she ever taught. This is exciting. Not to you, but to me. Sorry. So what we're going to do here is we've got this article, and um, we want to look at some keywords. So when you're looking at your particular topic, whether you're doing superstition and religion, gender roles, slavery and racism, hypocrisy in society, you want to make a list of some search terms, some keywords that you can search for prior to doing this. So I'm going to use a little keyboard shortcut, the Command F, or if you're on a PC, you would do Control F. And I'm gonna use. Let's look at what is a keyword that we could use. So I'm going to look at slave. And so it will get slave and slavery, because if I do slavery, then it reduced the number from 28 to 12. So I'm going to reduce it to just that root word, slavery. And so I like this particular quote. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight it. Okay. Highlight the entire sentence so that I have the full context. And when I let go, it gives me this little pop-up menu. So now I can color code my searches. So I'm going to use purple. Let's use purple. And so in all caps, and this is a me thing. This is not something that you have to do. I'm just going to put in all capital letters the keyword that I searched. And that way, when I look at my notes later on, when I'm getting ready to organize my ideas, I can organize it not only by color, but by that keyword. And so this is where you're going to put your notes, your annotations. And essentially what you want to put in this box is you want to look at the overall picture. So if you're thinking about, like, each little paragraph is like it's its own CDC, and I know you guys have studied this in great detail. So you've got the idea about slavery and how it affects the novel, but the evidence or your data is all this highlighted part. And so your commentary is actually what goes in this little annotation box. Things that you want to think about are, how does this idea of slaves and slavery affect the characters? How does it further the plot? Why? What is the author's purpose? So what is Mark Twain trying to say? What is his message to the reader by incorporating this idea of slaves and slavery into his novel Huckleberry Finn? What does he want to tell you? So those are the kinds of questions that you want to ask yourself, and answer those questions. You can just jot down your ideas. You don't have to use like full complete sentences in this little annotation box. Once you get all that done, then you just click save. So let's look for a different keyword. So let's see if we can find evidence. Okay, so I just typed in racism. I didn't type in the entire word. If I click right here and I just use RAC, so where I could get race, racial, racism, and all kind of variations of that word, I just want to draw to your attention right here, it pulled out the RAC in the word character. So to avoid that, all I have to do is go back to my little search term at the top in my little find window and put a space before it. Now I'm going to it's going to just use the word and variations of the word race, racial, racism. So let's say that we like this particular sentence, this little piece of information. So I'm going to get the whole thing. I'm going to highlight it. Now, it is a different topic. So with a different topic comes a different color. So I'm going to select this lime green because I kind of like that. So I'm going to type in my keyword, and then this is where I'm going to answer those particular questions. What is the effect on the characters? How does it, it's kind of character driven. How does it drive the plot? And then I'm going to click save. So from here, we're just going to keep going back to our find window and we're going to go through all of our keywords and we're going to highlight and annotate the article and kind of color coordinate, code, if you will, all of our ideas and topics. And when we're done, this is what we're going to do. We're going to send it to ourselves. So if you look at this top little navigation bar, you see the little paper airplane that says send to. When you click on that, Google Drive is default, so I'm going to click Google Drive. And so I get this message that says that they're in my Google Drive. So when I go to my Google Drive, look, there's a folder. Now, guys, I did not create that folder. Google Drive, I did not create that. If I click on Gale Literature, I'm going to open that folder. There's my article. Okay, now that I know it's there, I can go back to my search and I can look for another article. You just, before you navigate away from that page, you want to make sure that you have the article successfully in your Google Drive. Otherwise, anything that you have highlighted, any notes, any annotations, they will all disappear because there's actually no way to save that. So that was the topic finder part. Let's go back to our original search. So now we've got these, we still have these 27 articles. So in a linear search like this, here's a really kind of a quick trick. If you click here where it says search within, then you can type in superstition, okay? And it will just pull out the articles that deal with superstition. So you've got 3 articles right here. If you you want to try a different word, then this little, this is all of the applied filters that you have. Instead of hitting that back arrow, all you have to do is just click on the X to delete that search term, and you can search for, this time, religion, okay? And then click submit. And now there's 9 that mention religion, okay? So on and so forth. If you want to talk about gender roles, then you would type in the word gender. If you want to talk about hypocrisy in society, you just type in the word hypocrisy. And then you'll get these articles. So let's look at this one right here, Deadpan Huck, okay? So right now we're looking at religion. And so I'm going to use my Control F, and we're going to type in, okay, so I didn't finish typing the word, but anything that is a variation of that word, religion, religious, that kind of thing, I want to be able to get all of those. And so let's say that I really, really, really like this particular piece of evidence. So I'm going to color code it, I think, orange. So for me, religion is going to be orange. Again, it helps if I could spell. Type in my keyword and then my notes, and then I'm going to click save. Okay, so maybe I look for Christianity or something to that. So I'm not going to type in the whole word. I'm just going to type in part of it. So maybe I like this one, and I'm going to highlight this particular piece of information, all of it right there. And so that particular one, I'm going to make that one yellow. Okay. So, sorry, can't talk and type. All right, notes. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click save. Okay, so again, I've gotten through all of my keywords, I've highlighted, I've annotated, and now I'm going to send it to my Google Drive. Okay, so now it should be there. So if we go back to the Google Drive, there it is. So that's that particular information. Now we've got, you just keep getting your articles until you've gotten at least one more than you actually need. Then what you're going to do is you come over here and you're going to open one of those articles with Google Docs. Now, because it's saved as a Microsoft Word document, and you'll get like this little memo up here. Look, so it's got like the docx. Um, you want to make sure that you come over here and save it as a Google Doc. So you go to File, Save as Google Docs, and it will open that Word document into a Google Doc, and it's going to stay in that same folder. Okay, so that's AVL. You've learned how to navigate those databases, how to narrow that search within, highlight, annotate, upload all of your information, those highlighted, annotated articles to Google Drive, and they all appear in that magic folder. So once you've completed those steps, you've gotten all of your research, all the articles, you've highlighted and annotated and saved them all, then you're going to be ready for the very next step. And that is coming up in this next video.